Welcome to the Empowered Meaning Coaching Podcast Series. I'm your host, Louise and Maurice. You know I love hearing from you. So in the comment section, make sure that you're sharing your experience. And if this material is resonating with you, make sure you're giving it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might benefit from it. Let's continue. Are peaceful people more confident? What do you think? Well, in this podcast, we are going to talk about peace of mind and confidence. We're going to begin by looking at the meaning of peaceful. Yes, we'll look at the dictionary definition, but we'll go a lot deeper so that you understand some of the subtle differences and how different people think about peace of mind and peaceful. And then we're going to look at the peace of mind and confidence research. Really important to look at the latest findings and statistics. And then troubled people's limiting beliefs, what's going on underneath the surface, how that's impacting not just their confidence, but their ability to move forward in life and achieve their goals and their definition of success. And then we're going to look at coaching troubled people. I'm going to share with you 5 coaching questions and give you a lot of insight into how to approach this delicate subject for some people. And then I'll share with you 5 additional coaching questions on a free coaching questions PDF document available on my website. Never any email address required. Always free to download. All right, let's begin this podcast. Remember, listening ears on. We are going to start with the meaning of peaceful. Let's continue. Here's some quick tip reminders. There's a lot of great information contained in this podcast. I don't want you to miss anything. So if you like to read as you listen to me, click on the CC to pull up the closed captions. This gear icon, when you click on it, this will pull up the settings. The playback speed is on normal. When you click on that, you can increase the speed to 2x, which will make this go quicker. Let's continue. Let's begin this podcast by dissecting the meaning of peace of mind or peaceful, beginning with what each means to you. When you think of the words peace of mind or peaceful, what one word or phrase would you use to describe it? And I want you to keep that word in mind as I discuss the dictionary definition of peaceful. From Merriam-Webster's dictionary, peaceful, untroubled by conflict, agitation, or commotion, of or relating to a state or time of peace, devoid of violence or force. Now, there are some common character traits of people who are peaceful, and these are that they are introspective and reflective. They are patient, tolerant, and accepting of others. They have a strong sense of inner peace and tranquility. They often find solace in nature and the outdoors. They are good listeners and make great friends. They're creative, expressive in their art, music, or writing. They have problem solving and conflict resolution skills. They identify with humanity and have a concern for the well-being of others. They value universalism over power and reject revenge norms. They believe in the efficacy of peaceful actions and have hope for peace. Now, these are just some of the characteristics and traits that can make someone a peaceful person. Of course, there are many other factors that contribute to one's peacefulness, such as personality, culture, religion, or life experiences. Peacefulness is not a fixed trait, but rather a dynamic and evolving state of mind and behavior. Now, on the opposite spectrum, character traits of people who are troubled may have different reasons for their distress, people that are troubled, but they might be experiencing mental health issues, trauma, grief, or stress. However, some common character traits that might indicate that someone is troubled are that they are defensive, hostile, or aggressive towards others. They have low self-esteem, self-worth, or confidence. They isolate themselves from others or avoid social interactions. They have difficulty expressing or regulating their emotions. They engage in self-destructive or risky behaviors such as substance abuse, self-harm, or gambling. They have a pessimistic, cynical, or hopeless outlook in life. They have trouble trusting or forming meaningful relationships with others. They have distorted or irrational beliefs or perceptions of reality. They experience frequent mood swings, anxiety, or depression. They have poor coping or problem-solving skills. Now, these are just some of the characteristics and traits that may suggest that someone is troubled. Of course, not everyone who has these traits is troubled, and not everyone who is troubled has these traits. Troubled people may also have positive qualities such as creativity, resilience, or empathy. Troubled people may benefit from seeking professional help, such as therapy or support groups, to address the underlying cause of their troubles and ultimately improve their well-being. Now that you know the dictionary definition of peaceful and some of the character traits that people who are peaceful and troubled possess, how close was the dictionary definition to the one word or phrase that you used to describe peaceful? Now, from the dictionary definition of peaceful and the character traits of people who are peaceful and troubled, I want you to think of people you know who fit those descriptions. As you continue to listen, with the research coming up, it's going to help you to gain insight and perspective. But before we get to that research, let's take a deeper look at the meaning of peaceful and peace of mind, and really look at what it is and what it's not, as well as some myths associated with it. Peaceful is an adjective that means free from war, violence, conflict, or disturbance. But it also means calm, quiet, or tranquil. Peaceful can describe a person, a place, a situation, or a state of mind. For example, she lived a peaceful life in the countryside. The lake was peaceful and serene. They resolved their differences in a peaceful way. He felt peaceful and relaxed after meditating. Peaceful is not the opposite of active, energetic, or lively. Peaceful does not mean boring, dull, or passive. Peaceful is not the same as weak, timid, or afraid. Peaceful does not imply ignorance, indifference, or apathy. Peaceful is not a synonym for lazy, idle, or slothful. Peaceful is not a negative or undesirable quality. For example, he was a peaceful activist who fought for social justice. She had a peaceful personality. She was also very smart and creative. They enjoyed a peaceful vacation, but they also had fun and experienced some adventure. He was a peaceful leader who inspired courage and confidence in his followers. She was a peaceful student who worked hard and learned a lot. Now, some myths associated with people who are peaceful are myth 1. Peaceful people are always happy and never angry. Well, in reality, peaceful people can experience a range of emotions, including anger, sadness, frustration, or disappointment. However, they do not let these emotions control them or harm others. They express their feelings in healthy and constructive ways, and they seek to resolve conflicts peacefully. Myth 2. Peaceful people are naive and unrealistic. Reality, Peaceful people are aware of the problems and challenges in the world, but they do not lose hope or give up. They have a positive and optimistic outlook, and they believe in the possibility of change and improvement. They are not blind to the realities of violence and injustice, but they do not accept them as inevitable or normal. They seek to understand the causes and consequences of these issues, and they work to find solutions and alternatives. And lastly, myth 3, peaceful people are passive and submissive. No, reality is that peaceful people are active and assertive. They do not let others take advantage of them or violate their rights. They stand up for themselves and for others who are oppressed or mistreated. They do not use violence or aggression, but they do not tolerate it either. They resist injustice and oppression, and they advocate for peace and justice. All right, so now that you know the dictionary definition of peaceful and what peace of mind isn't, as well as some of the character traits of people who are peaceful, as well as those that are troubled, the opposite side of the spectrum. With the myths associated with people who are peaceful, what does the research say? Are peaceful people more confident? Well, let's look at that next. Peace of mind and confidence research. The meaning of peace of mind can be formed in childhood in both healthy ways and unhealthy, distorted ways that then impact them into adulthood. Some healthy ways that peace of mind is formed in childhood is having a secure attachment with caregivers who provide love, support, and guidance, developing coping skills to deal with stress, emotions, and challenges, having positive role models who demonstrate peace of mind and resilience. Some unhealthy, distorted ways that peace of mind is formed in childhood is when they experience trauma, abuse, neglect, or violence that disrupts the sense of safety and trust, learning maladaptive beliefs and behaviors from caregivers who lack peace of mind and emotional regulation, and internalizing negative messages from others or the environment that erode self-esteem and confidence. 3 situations that can trigger people when they have distorted views of peace of mind are situation 1, facing a change or loss that threatens their sense of security or identity. The second situation that can trigger people when they have distorted views of peace of mind are when they encounter a conflict or criticism that challenges their self-worth or values. And the third and final situation that can trigger people when they have distorted views of peace of mind are that feeling of being overwhelmed or helpless by a situation that is beyond their control. The main fear that people experience when they don't have peace of mind is the fear of uncertainty. This is the fear of not knowing what will happen, how to cope, or what to do. It can also be the fear of losing something or someone that is important to them. The belief that comes from that fear is that they are not safe, not good enough, or not in control. This belief can lead to a negative outlook, a lack of trust, and a low sense of agency. The feelings they experience are anxiety, worry, anger, sadness, guilt, shame, or hopelessness. These feelings can be intense, persistent, or overwhelming. The behaviors and defense mechanisms that they use as protective measures are avoidance, avoiding or escaping from the situation or the feelings associated with it. Denial, denying or minimizing the reality or the impact of the situation or the feelings. Projection, blaming or accusing others of having the feelings or problems that they themselves have. Distortion, distorting or exaggerating the beliefs or the meaning of the situation or the feelings. Regression, reverting to earlier or immature behaviors that provide comfort or relief. Sublimation, channeling the feelings or impulses into more acceptable or productive outlets. Now, this is where the research, when there are peaceful people in relation to confidence, it really is based on various factors such as their personality, traits, values, motivations, as well as coping skills. Peaceful people may have more confidence because they are less likely to be influenced by external pressures or expectations and more likely to follow their own inner guidance and intuition. They may also have a higher sense of self-worth and self-acceptance as they do not judge themselves or others harshly. Peaceful people may have less confidence because they may avoid conflicts or confrontations, which could limit their opportunities to assert themselves or express their opinions. They may also struggle with setting boundaries or saying no, which could make them vulnerable to manipulation or exploitation by others. Some of the researchers or statistics that support these points are from Daniel Goleman, that psychologist and author of the book Emotional Intelligence, who proposes that peacefulness is one of the components of emotional intelligence, which is linked to self-confidence and success in life. Carolyn Bushong, a psychotherapist and author of the book The 7 Dumbest Relationship Mistakes Smart People Make, who suggests that peaceful people have a calming presence and positive attitude, which can boost their confidence and attract others to them. Preston Nee, a communication coach and author of the book How to Communicate Effectively and Handle Difficult People, who advised that peaceful people need to learn how to deal with hostile and confrontational people, as they can undermine their confidence and well-being. And Peter Murphy, a self-help expert and author of the book How to Kill Fear When Dealing with Aggressive People, explained that peaceful people need to develop their problem-solving and conflict resolution skills as they can enhance their confidence and competence. Peace of mind, remember, it is that quality of being calm, tranquil, and free from worry or stress, whereas confidence is the belief in oneself, one's abilities, and one's worth. Research has also shown that peace of mind and confidence are positively correlated, meaning that people who have more peace of mind tend to have more confidence and vice versa. So this is where all of this research, it's being shared with you. Again, not that you can judge people who might be on the opposite side of the spectrum, but to give you context and understanding, especially when you understand some of the protective defense mechanisms that people will use when they have a maladaptive way of connecting. They have, from childhood, have those unhealthy perspectives and the way that they were shown to cope. Maybe it was always in that troubled, conflictive way. So this is where, when you understand the origin of their behaviors and thought patterns, you can be authentically compassionate without taking their actions and behaviors personally. Now, let's talk about people who are troubled and their limiting beliefs, because this typically are the people that you are going to be coaching. And if you're leading or managing a team of people, these are the ones that will be displaying more conflict, and these are the ones that you will have to address these behaviors. Remember, limiting beliefs are the stories we tell ourselves about who we are that hold us back from becoming who we are meant to be. These beliefs limit us from reaching our full potential and achieving our goals. Some examples of limiting beliefs are, I don't have time, I don't have what it takes, I'm not strong enough, I don't deserve love. And these beliefs can impact our success in various ways, such as reducing our creativity and motivation, preventing us from taking action and seizing opportunities, sabotaging our relationships and self-esteem, and keeping us in a negative state of mind and hindering our happiness. When people are troubled and they're not experiencing that sense of peacefulness, then they're always in that constant state of anxiety and worry. So these beliefs of I don't have time keep them in that state of overwhelm and anxiety. I don't have what it takes keeps them in that constant state of worry, as well as I'm not strong enough and I don't deserve love. Keeps them with those protective defense mechanisms where they're not trusting. But the good news is that limiting beliefs can be overcome with awareness, challenge, and change. When you guide people to identify their limiting beliefs, you're guiding them to examine their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and challenging them to find evidence that contradicts those limiting beliefs, and then helping them to reframe them into positive affirmation. Now, some specific limiting beliefs that troubled people also have are they believe that bad things are going to happen on a consistent basis and that they have no control over them. They believe that other people or circumstances are to blame for their problems always. And they believe that any efforts to change will fail, so there's no point in even trying. People who are troubled may have these beliefs because it stems from their past experiences, traumas, or criticisms. And these beliefs may affect their mental health, self-esteem, and relationships, especially when they're feeling powerless and helpless. They're feeling like they're a failure and a burden, and that's causing them to feel very alone and isolated, especially when they believe that other people are better than they are or other people are to blame. Remember, these beliefs can create that negative cycle of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that then reinforce the belief and prevent the person from seeking help or changing their situation. Troubled people, these limiting beliefs lead them to self-sabotage, avoidance, or those coping mechanisms that are harmful and unhealthy. Now, to overcome these limiting beliefs, troubled people need to challenge them with evidence, logic, and compassion. And they need to recognize that their beliefs are not facts, but interpretations of their experiences, helping them to reframe those beliefs into more positive and realistic ones that will support their goals and values. That's what a great coach does. Now, again, understanding these limiting beliefs, I mean, maybe there were times in your life when you were experiencing more troubled thoughts and troubled behaviors that were getting you into that place of going beyond peace of mind. You weren't experiencing any peacefulness at all. If those limiting beliefs that I identified weren't ones that you had, what were some of those beliefs that were fueling the troubledness, or even if you were feeling a lot more anxiety or worry than usual? Make sure that you're sharing those in the comment section, because it really is. It's those aha moments. And it's always about helping people to understand that change is possible. And especially if you were on a journey that was taking you down a path that you didn't want to be on, how has peacefulness also benefited you as well? All right, so now that you understand the limiting beliefs, how do you coach people who are troubled? Coaching troubled people toward having more peace of mind is definitely something that is rewarding, but it can be a challenging process. Now, when you are coaching people to overcome their limiting beliefs, you should always establish trust and a supportive relationship with them. Show empathy, respect, and curiosity towards the client and their situation without judging them. Remember, that's why I had you think about those times when you were troubled and you maybe were sabotaging yourself. Because when you can always connect with those moments in your life when you have experienced that, then it helps you to be more empathetic when you are guiding someone beyond being troubled toward being more peaceful and experiencing more peace of mind more so. Although in reality, people will experience both times of trouble and more peaceful times as well. So it's about having that balance. So you always want to help people to identify and articulate their limiting beliefs, using powerful questions, active listening, and feedback to help people explore the root of their limiting beliefs and how these limiting beliefs affect their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Challenge them to reframe their limiting beliefs into empowering ones. Use coaching techniques such as cognitive restructuring, positive affirmations, or visualization to help the client replace their negative thoughts into positive ones that support their goals and values. Help them to always find that evidence that contradicts their limiting beliefs and to recognize their strengths and achievements. You can also help them create realistic and achievable action plans that align with their desired outcomes and new beliefs. And always celebrate their successes and overcome those obstacles and setbacks, and then letting them know, hey, you did this. And also providing that accountability, encouragement, and motivation as they are going through the process. So by implementing some of these strategies, you can help someone who is troubled with limiting beliefs achieve greater peace of mind and well-being. So let's look up 5 coaching questions that you can use to help people who are troubled gain more peace of mind. That first question, what are some of the costs of not having peace of mind? And this is helping them to identify if they stay in that place of being troubled and anxious and worried and overwhelmed. What is that costing them? Helping them to identify this is powerful because maybe they've never even thought about it, or maybe this is just their normal, natural state of being, and they don't realize what it is costing them. Question 2, how does worry or discontent hinder your success and happiness? So they have this sense of success, but maybe they don't allow themselves to get there because they're in that constant state of worry or discontent. So getting them to be aware of that. Question 3, what are some of the benefits of being peaceful? And this is where going back to the meanings and the character traits and some of the myths of being peaceful, when you are aware of that, then you can help the client or help whoever you are leading or managing, or even just for your own sense. When you understand that, you realize, no, it's not about being boring or lazy or idle. No, it's about having this sense of peacefulness so that things don't bother you. You're not in that constant state of worry. Question 4, how can peace of mind help you achieve your goals and improve your career, health, or finances, or business, or whatever you're helping them to coach, whatever type of coach you are? Because this is where, when you guide them so that they realize, wow, there's another way of showing up. Because remember, that research that we had looked at, and review the researchers, the way that children are raised, if they're raised in an environment where peace of mind and peacefulness, this is just a natural state of being, or are they in a household where there's constant experiencing of abuse or trauma, or everything is just chaos all of the time, troubling and worrying. And then this becomes their normal. This becomes their benchmark. And this is where you have to move them to a place of, hey, it's normal and natural. Knowing that they might always be reverting back, you have to be able to give them those strategies. And then question 5, how do you define success and failure? And how do you handle success and failure with a peaceful attitude? And again, this is providing them with those strategies so that they feel empowered to start moving toward success and also failure. Some people, oh, failure, it's just the end of the world. And it's always, oh, this is my, always something's happening. And that's their narrative. So this final question is about helping them to develop a new narrative. Now, remember, these questions are powerful when they're put into action, but I also have 5 more specific questions that are going to help you to coach someone who's troubled to find more peace of mind, or to balance with peace of mind and realizing that there is another way to be. So if you keep listening, I'll let you know where you can find those additional 5 questions. Well, that's a wrap for this podcast. Hopefully you've been sharing your experience in the comments section. I want to hear from you. You bring with you so much valuable insight. And if this podcast, what you've been listening to, if it resonated with you, make sure you give it a thumbs up as well. Share with people who can benefit from it. If you are not a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so you're notified when the next podcast drops. I am your podcast host, Louise and Maurice, and I appreciate that you've spent your valuable time with me. As promised, I'm going to share with you where you can find the valuable PDF document with the rest of the coaching questions on it. You want to go to my website, louiseandmaurice.com, and you want to click on free or hover your mouse over free, and you see all of these resources that I have for you: free coaching training, coaching questions, empowered mindset. The last one, What Should I Do?, which was the Empowered Prevention series, and now Coaching Podcast. You want to click on Coaching Podcast, and that will take you to the free resources associated with Season 1 of the Coaching Podcast.